As a company, GameStop has been struggling year in and year out to keep up with the modern trends of the market, particularly as we move to a significantly more digital-focused gaming age, one that I mostly actually have a huge issue with, but that's beyond the point. The thing is, GameStop made its brand by selling games for cheaper than you get retail. I mean, yeah, they always had the brand new releases, and those were the same price, but they were also a key component of the secondary market, where they would buy used games and sell them at a significant decrease. But the thing is, in a fully digital age, where most storefronts don't even allow you to transfer ownership of games, it becomes completely impossible to maintain that market. As most people would rather just buy the game when it comes out on launch, or do Game Pass, where they don't even own the game. Also, they can get the game a little bit early instead of having to go and get a CD that does nothing, because even if you go and you buy a physical DVD or CD for your game, it doesn't do anything because you still have to install all of the software onto your computer or console, and the real problem is computer doesn't even have a disk drive anymore to play games. I mean, sure, I do have some physical computer games. Problem is, it's, Star Wars The Old Republic and Spore. One I got at Goodwill and the other I got at Half Price Books for just under $2 each. That's not the kind of profit that places like GameStop can rely on when they have to sell games for at least over $10 most of the time. You're really going to struggle a game for cheaper than that. Now, one solution GameStop has tried to have is, well, going back into the retro market, which I'm a huge fan of. For those of you who know, I've been recently getting into a lot of retro technology. From collecting VHS tapes to recently buying both a Wii and a Sega Genesis Classic that I found at Goodwill for both under $40. The Sega Genesis Classic was specifically $9. But the problem is, going into GameStop and looking at their retro sections, the prices that they charge for their retro games is really ridiculous. They're charging most of the time above what's being demanded on places like eBay. They're looking at the general price that those sites are charging, and then they're increasing that by $10 frequently, which is significantly more than someone like me, who is, a broke college student, is willing to pay on something retro. And especially when I can go to just Half Price Books and get the thing for $10 less, or even $15 less in the market share. But there's a new idea that the CEO of GameStop has that might revolutionize their loss leaders and make it so that the company might actually have a chance of being profitable once more. No, it's not revolutionizing the play space. No, it's not returning demo tables into the company, into the store. No, it's not throwing out all of their stupid Funko Pops and replacing with something that nerds actually want. And no, it's not doing anything to engage in community outreach. Instead, it's something much more fundamental at the corporate level that might play off for them. That being, they're disbanding their DEI departments, they're blaming DEI for a lot of their shortcomings, and they're closing all store locations in France and Canada. Which is honestly based as hell. France, not even a real language. And this way you have to spend a whole lot less money on fragrance to keep your stores from smelling bad. Honestly, anything that makes France look bad, I'm all for. Great job. But before I get any further, like, subscribe, and let's actually get into this. So coming from that Park Place, GameStop CEO goes off on DEI in X post as retail chain looks to sell off Canadian and French locations written by M. Montanaro. GameStop CEO Ryan Cohen has stirred controversy after taking to X this weekend, where he appeared to place the blame for GameStop's struggles and its decisions to exit the markets in Canada and France squarely on wokeness and DEI, or diversity, equity, and inclusion policies. The game retailer, which has faced mounting challenges over the last decade, announced plans to sell its operations in both countries. In an official release, GameStop said it was evaluating its international assets and intends to offload its Canadian and French branches. The company currently operates over 200 stores in Canada and nearly 650 across Europe. And from Phantom Pulse, it was revealed that it's closer to around 350 in France alone. Shortly after the announcement, Cohen posted on X sharing his thoughts on the business climate as Canada and France. In his message, he cited high taxes, progressive policies, wokeness, and DEI as contributing factors to GameStop's decision to pull out of these markets. Specifically, he said, email mna@gamestop.com if you're interested in buying GameStop Canada or Micromania France. High taxes, liberalism, socialism, progressivism, wokeness, and DEI included at no additional cost if you buy today. And the funny thing is, you really think about it, the DEI policies and all that stuff with the progressivism and the wokeness all go hand in hand with the high taxes. Liberalism, socialism, progressivism, wokeness, and DEI will all increase taxes because it is offloading the value of actual workers onto losers who don't want to work. You're paying for a bunch of people named Mohammed to come in here and not only rape your stores, but your daughters too. Your profits will be down the toilet because you're far too busy paying off taxes to the freeloaders who refuse to integrate to your country. And if you're in Canada, the biggest problem with it is when people call tech support, they're expecting a certain voice. They're not expecting that same voice when they go into GameStop. But beyond the fact that all of this is factually true, given the fact that high taxes are a direct result of everything else he named, it is amazing to see someone like Ryan Cohen, an actual CEO of a major company, being GameStop, coming out and saying something that everyone's already thinking. Everyone already knows that this system is doomed to fail. Everyone already knows how badly things are struggling. So to have somebody so highbrow come out and, well, say it, to prove that we're not all crazy, and maybe things are actually going to start turning around sooner than later, is quite the comfort. The blunt statement sparked immediate debate. While some saw Cohen's post as an honest critique of the business environment in certain regions, others criticized it as a deflecting from GameStop's long-standing struggle in adapting to the evolving gaming industry. Which is true. GameStop has been struggling massively to adapt to the new world. Problem is, and I will admit to this, GameStop blaming it all on DEI isn't entirely accurate. Now, if you want to blame some of the other problems on DEI that is now affecting GameStop, we can have that conversation. But just the fact that GameStop is suffering is not a direct result of DEI alone, but it's certainly also not helping. GameStop has been on a downward trajectory since its revenue peaked in 2011 when it reported $9.55 billion in sales. By 2024, that figure had plummeted to $4.33 billion, a staggering 24% drop from the previous year alone. The shift towards digital game distribution, spearheaded by major players like Microsoft and Sony, has left traditional brick-and-mortar retailers like GameStop scrambling to adapt. And I guess, like I mentioned with the retro style, they seem to be trying to adapt a little bit. One of the problems is they went all in on the Funko craze, and they're still filled to the brim with Funkos that nobody's buying because people realize Funkos are cheap plastic crap. With the exception of some very specific collector's Funkos, which are really the only ones worth buying if you can find it like a Goodwill or someplace that isn't pricing it according to its collector's market, Funkos actually act as a great representation for everything wrong with the nerd community and how DEI has killed every single instance of nerddom. It's plain, it's homogenous, it's low effort, it's cheap. It's designed to sit on a wall and never be thought about again. It's designed to be a low-effort gift so that moms who know nothing about comics or video games or anything else like that can give something to their kids who do care about it. It's normie trash designed to appeal to normies, and normies eat that shit up. All while shitting on people who are actual fans and actual nerds because we understand what the value of a real figure writing is. Funko isn't a substitute for actual statuettes, and they know it, but they keep selling Funko because they can produce them in mass quantities with only small tweaks made to them. And that is exactly what DEI has done to every single sector of nerddom. It is what they did to comics, it's what they're doing to video games, it's what they did to movies, it's what they're doing to everything. And everything will be ruined in their wake to make it as homogenous and not for the nerds as possible. While many industry observers point to this digital transition as the primary reason for GameStop's challenges, Cohen's comments suggest he believes external social and economic policies played a significant role. Worker-friendly regulations, higher taxes, and DEI initiatives have, according to Cohen, placed an additional burden on businesses operating in regions like Canada and France. Now, unless there are more tweets that aren't being provided, it doesn't sound like Cohen's blaming everything on it. It doesn't sound like he's putting all his eggs in that one particular basket, but more that he's accounting for the fact that it is legitimately a problem that has made GameStop struggle. It doesn't seem like he's saying it's the only problem, and he might very well actually admit to the other problems as well, but he's making sure to point out that DEI is one of the problems. Now, Cohen is no stranger to controversy. In 2022, he purchased a nearly 10% stake in Bed Bath & Beyond through his investment firm, only for the retailer to declare bankruptcy a year later. He's also the co-founder of the successful pet goods company Chewy, giving him a mixed track record in the retail space. See, that's the real reason he's pulling out of Canada. Indians don't buy soap, and they ruin his investment in Bed Bath & Beyond, because if Indians just bought the soap in Canada, then that company would probably have stayed open. His recent critique of DEI aligns with a broader national conversation. DEI programs designed to promote representation and inclusivity in the workplace have faced increased scrutiny in recent years. Critics argue that such initiatives can lead to unfair hiring practices, while supporters believe they are essential for fostering diverse work environments. I have to give criticism to that Park Place and Ed Montanaro for giving an overly generous description of DEI. DEI's whole point is not to increase diversity, but increase artificial diversity. It is to make it look more diverse while making it significantly more homogenous. They want to get rid of anyone who thinks differently while maintaining people who look differently. Particularly, well, not look too differently. They just want people who look not like me. And not only does DEI create unfair hiring practices, it also creates a lower effort workforce. It creates a workforce that is less to unite for, a workforce that is more likely to be divided on multiple different topics, a workforce that is more likely to fight with each other, to get into more interpersonal conflicts, as incompatible cultures are forced to collide with every single day, all while dissuading people who are actually qualified from being hired. To put To put it simply, DEI doesn't just mean diversity, equity, inclusion, it also means didn't earn it. It's a complete killer of meritocracy, which is the necessary force for businesses to grow. We've all seen the disastrous effects of DEI, and that's going to affect everything, including brick and mortar shops like GameStop. President Trump's administration has taken a hard stance against DEI, moving to roll back these policies in both the public and private sectors. As a result, numerous companies, including Meta and Google, have scaled back their DEI commitments to align with their shifting political landscapes. Others, like Apple and Costco, have chosen to maintain their initiatives despite growing pressures. And you know what? If you're a private business and you want to maintain it, go ahead. It's a stupid choice. You look retarded, but go ahead and do it anyway. But it is high time that the federal government gets out of this kind of business, because all it does is it ruins the actual government working. It kills the bureaucracy, and not in a good way. Usually killing bureaucracy is good, but when you fill it with DEI, you put people who are incompetent in charge, meaning that the bureaucratic process takes significantly longer, and a lot more errors get committed, which means you have to go back and fill out more files. Though, of course, we also have to be really careful because DEI is also being rebranded and being reintegrated. For instance, there's Bridge, which is just the same thing, but instead of having a DEI department, every department is a DEI department. Your sales department, DEI focus. You hire DEI-minded people, and then they spread that to the rest of the workplace culture. And when every single team is built with that mindset, there's no way to separate DEI from the company because it has become fully integrated. But the idea is still there, even if the department isn't. Another one that I heard was patriotic pluralism, which is just such commie gobbledygook. It is a mess of words designed to make it sound like a good thing and make it sound like something that the right wing would endorse instead of being something that everyone knows is bullshit. Now, admittedly, GameStop's survival in recent years has been nothing short of remarkable. During the pandemic, the company became the poster child of the meme stock frenzy, where individual investors banded together to drive up its stock price, countering Wall Street's short sellers. This influx of capital allowed GameStop to stay afloat, even experimenting with ventures like an NFT marketplace. Which is stupid, and I'm glad that failed, because NFTs are probably the dumbest thing in the world. Anyone who buys an NFT, I'm sorry, you belong on a short bus. And of course, I'm very upset. I literally missed the meme stock by like 30 minutes, and I'm very sad that I could have, gotten out with something. However, as the meme stock craze faded, GameStop found itself grappling with the same challenges that had plagued it for years. The company's decision to exit Canada and France marks a significant retreat and raises questions about its long-term viability. Well, the real reason they're pulling out is they don't want to risk a car bombing getting in the way of their business operations. Though I guess that would be much more true if they were pulling out of Sweden. Now, whether Cohen's critique of wokeness and DEI will resonate with investors and consumers remains to be seen. For now, GameStop faces an uncertain future as it navigates the shifting landscape of the gaming industry while grappling with internal and external pressures. It's high time these businesses learn that this kind of marketing strategy, this kind of ploy isn't going to work. DEI is poison. It will literally kill your businesses. It will leave you to bankrupt, and if it doesn't, it will kill your customer base. Look at what happened to Bud Light when they went all in. The best thing that most of these DEI initiatives do is stay under the radar, but they're all going to be exposed eventually because for some reason these liberal nutjobs can't help but growing a pair of balls and doing something far above their measures. Though to be fair, most of these liberal people would love to grow balls, but unfortunately that's not in your cards. Sorry, testosterone shots about to do for now. And while I'm still quite fond of GameStop, their prices are still ridiculous, so the Pro plan is pretty reasonable, and it's a great way to get corded controllers. Because if you have a wired controller, it's most likely the connector is going to break or a button is going to break way too quick, and then you just replace it using the warranty and you get a new controller, so long as you just pay the warranty price. So then when it breaks again, you get another one. It's been keeping me in supply of controllers, which is the only way I can keep playing games. Because mouse and keyboard is for losers. And truthfully, I really do hope that GameStop manages to survive, manages to stay afloat, because it would really suck if they went out of business after all the experiences we've had with them. The only problem is that they really need to evolve and change to meet this new climate. And the first thing they need to do is start getting products worth buying and maybe not charging so much out of the ass for things that are utter trash. But that's pretty much what I've got. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think about this, and I will see you guys on the next one.